The hidden ego, there's a version of you that you never show. Not because it doesn't exist, but because it's too honest, too raw, too dangerous. We all like to believe we're good people. Kind, humble, understanding. But beneath that carefully designed identity, there's something else. Something quieter, something darker. The hidden ego, it doesn't scream. It doesn't beg for attention. It watches. It calculates. It waits. And the most dangerous part, you don't even realize when it's in control. The hidden ego doesn't look like arrogance. It doesn't walk into a room announcing itself. No, it hides behind politeness, behind fake humility, behind that soft voice you use when you say, "I don't care." Because you do care, more than you admit. You care about being chosen, being respected, being seen as someone who matters. And when that doesn't happen, the hidden ego reacts. Not loudly, but deeply. It shows up in silence. When someone ignores your message and you pretend it didn't bother you, but you check your phone again and again. When someone else succeeds and you smile, but something inside you tightens. That's not jealousy, you tell yourself, but the truth, it is just refined, disguised, polished enough to look acceptable. The hidden ego is subtle. It doesn't say, "I want to be better than everyone." It says, "I just want to be enough." But deep down, enough quietly competes with others. It compares, it measures, it keeps score. Who's ahead? Who's falling behind? Where you stand. And the scary part? It can make you act in ways you don't recognize. You distance yourself from people who once mattered. Not because they changed, but because they stopped feeding your ego. You lose interest in conversations that don't revolve around you. You become colder, not stronger. Detached, not peaceful. The hidden ego loves control. It tells you to stay silent not because you're at peace, but because you want power. Because silence makes people wonder. And curiosity gives you control. So you disappear, not to heal, but to be chased. And when they don't chase, that's when it hurts the most. You see, the hidden ego isn't evil. It's protective. It was built from every moment you felt ignored, overlooked, not enough. It learned to hide your vulnerability behind strength, to replace honesty with control, to turn pain into quiet superiority. But here's the truth most people will never admit. The hidden ego doesn't make you powerful. It isolates you. Because real connection requires something the ego fears, exposure, to be seen without the mask, to admit, "I care, I'm hurt, I'm not okay." That's real strength. But the hidden ego, it will fight that, every time. It will tell you to act unbothered, to stay distant, to never show weakness. Because in its world, vulnerability equals loss. But in reality, that's where everything real begins. The problem is most people never face their hidden ego. They feed it through validation, through attention, through comparison. They build an identity around being admired instead of being understood, and slowly they forget who they actually are. So ask yourself, when you stay silent, is it peace? Or pride, when you walk away, is it self-respect? Or ego protection, when you say, "I don't care," is it truth? Or fear of not being enough? Because the hidden ego thrives in denial. It grows stronger the more you ignore it. But the moment you notice it, truly notice it, it weakens. Not instantly, not completely, but enough for you to choose differently. To speak when silence is just fear. To stay when leaving is just pride. To be real, even when it feels uncomfortable. Because at the end of the day, you're not fighting other people. You're fighting the version of yourself that needs to feel superior just to feel safe. And maybe real growth isn't becoming better than others. Maybe it's becoming honest with yourself. The hidden ego will always exist, but it doesn't have to control you. Control it before it quietly controls your entire life. But the hidden ego doesn't stop there, it evolves. The more you ignore it, the more sophisticated it becomes. It learns your patterns, your fears, your insecurities, and then it starts using them against you. It tells you to act mature when you're actually just avoiding confrontation. It tells you to protect your peace when you're really just running from discomfort. It convinces you that distance is strength, even when it's just loneliness in disguise. You start calling your walls boundaries. Your coldness becomes self-respect. Your silence becomes power. And slowly, you begin to lose the ability to feel things fully. Because feeling means risking. And the hidden ego hates risk. It would rather keep you safe in isolation than exposed in connection. So you become harder to reach, harder to understand, harder to love. Not because you're strong, but because you're guarded. And here's where it gets dangerous. The hidden ego can turn pain into identity. You stop saying, I went through something, and start believing, this is who I am. I'm the one who doesn't care. I'm the one who stays distant. I'm the one people can't figure out. It sounds powerful, mysterious, untouchable. But look closer, it's just another mask. A mask built not to express you, but to protect you from rejection, from embarrassment, from not being enough. But protection has a price. And that price is authenticity. Because the more you hide behind this version of yourself, the further you drift from who you actually are. You start performing, even when you're alone, even when no one is watching. You replay conversations in your head, thinking about what you should have said to look stronger. You imagine scenarios where you win, where you dominate, where you're finally seen. That's not confidence. That's the hidden ego trying to rewrite reality. And maybe the hardest truth is this. The hidden ego doesn't want you to heal. It wants you to win. Win arguments. Win attention. Win validation. Even if it costs you real connection. Because healing requires surrender. And the ego, it doesn't surrender. It resists. It tells you, don't apologize first. Don't double text. Don't show you care more. Not because it's right, but because it's afraid. Afraid that if you show too much, you'll lose control. Afraid that if you open up, you'll be hurt again. Afraid that if you're truly seen, you won't be enough. So instead, you play it safe. Detached. Unbothered. Untouchable. But deep down, you feel it. That quiet emptiness. That unspoken tension. That feeling of being surrounded by people, yet somehow alone. That's the hidden ego's world. A world where you look strong on the outside, but feel disconnected on the inside. And breaking out of it? It's not easy, because it requires something the ego has been avoiding your entire life, honesty. Not the kind you show others. The kind you show yourself. Admitting, I care more than I say. I get hurt more than I show. I'm not as unaffected as I pretend to be. That kind of honesty feels like losing, but it's not. It's the beginning of something real. Because the moment you stop pretending, you stop performing. And the moment you stop performing, you start living. Not for validation, not for control, but for truth. And truth doesn't need an ego to survive. So maybe the goal isn't to destroy your ego. Maybe it's to understand it. To recognize when it speaks, to question it, to not blindly follow it, because once you see it clearly, it loses its power, and you gain yours. Not the loud kind, not the controlling kind, but the quiet, grounded kind. The kind that doesn't need to prove anything, because it already knows who it is. And maybe that's the real power, not being above others, not being untouchable, but being real in a world full of masks. Because in the end, the most dangerous illusion isn't other people. It's the version of yourself you refuse to question.